So before we move on to other more complex use cases for arrays, I want to explore inserting and removing array elements. And just really quickly before we do that, I'll scroll up a little bit and just mention that you can also reference, when referencing historical values in an array, you can't just do it this way. You can't use the array.get and then reference your array and then use the historical operator. But you can do this by not doing that, but adding it on to the end of your array function call. So if I scroll down here, this here will work. So when it comes to inserting array elements, there are three functions that can be used. Array.unshift inserts a new element at the beginning of an array at index 0 and shifts any existing elements to the right by 1. So unshift inserts a new element at the beginning of the array, whereas insert can insert a new element at any position in the array. Its index parameter is the index where the new element will be added. The element that was existing at that index used in the function call and any others to its right are shifted one place to the right. So they have an example here. Let me copy the code here and paste it into my Pine editor. And here we go. So it's useful to mention that if you use the str.toString function and pass in your array, it actually prints out an array with a list of values in it, which is quite useful when debugging your scripts or if you want to see how your array is behaving. So what we have here is we're creating an array called A with 5 new float values, all starting with the value of 0. We are looping from 0 to 4. So 5 times. We are looping 5 times, 0 up to 4. And then each time we loop, we set the array index of our loop value, I, to I plus 1. And that gives us, hang on, let me change the color of my pen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what this label here does. We create a new label and we assign the text before and then a new line. And then we print out the values of our A array. And then after drawing those values onto our chart, we insert into our array ID called A. So this array here, we insert into index number 2, the value 999, and we end up with this. So we have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our insert function inserts into array index 2. So that's this index here. It inserts the value 999. And so what happens here is 3 gets shifted to the right, and so does 4 and 5. And 999 gets put in 3's place, in 3's index. And so now we have 6 values in our array. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to start with, and then 1, 2, 999, 3, 4, 5. So that's how you insert a value into an array. Let's have a look at the unshift function when dealing with arrays. So the unshift takes only 2 parameters, the array ID or variable name and the value we want to put in. So if I get rid of the index here, and let's change this to 888 so we can see what's happening here. And when I save my code, watch the after label. So save. Now 888 has been placed in the very first index slot, and all of the other array elements have been shifted to the right. So now instead of 1 being array index 0, it's now array index 1. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 indexes. And that is how you insert or add values into an existing index. So unshift will throw it to the very first index. Set will set an existing value to a new value. And insert will insert the given value into the given index. Now, if you want to add a value to the end of your array elements, we use the push function. So unshift puts the value at the start of our array. Push puts it at the end of our array. So if I get rid of our index here, save my code, we should have 888 drawing on the end. There we go. So we've pushed 888 onto the end of this array. If you're new to arrays, this will probably be quite confusing, but rewatch this lesson a few times, play around with these functions. I promise you, it's not that scary. You will get the hang of this with a bit of practice. But for now, we'll leave this lesson here. So these are the various ways we can insert new values. In the next lesson, we'll look at ways we can remove values from our array.